All right, we call this Facilities and Finance Subcommittee meeting on April 29th, 2025, 4 p.m. to order. I get a roll call, please.
Alex Dulce, Technology Department.
Celeste Oliveris, ASB Athletic Tech for Vasquez High School.
Lester Maston. William Mays.
Yolanda McCauley.
Ernesto Mora.
Kyle Nguyen, Business Services.
Thank you, everyone. Any public comment? Okay. That takes us to our first topic, analysis of power outages. Kyle.
Yeah, so I did some research on the number of power outages we had in the last 2 years. I'm gonna go around and pass this out. I'll split it up with you here. And that, back in 2023, in April, we did a partial power outages at the district office. NATO called in and letting Southern California Edison know of the situation. But we did have a power outage on July 8th, 23rd. And then from October 2023 all the way through December 2023, we had some big 2023.
Oh.
Just this section here.
Okay.
We Southern California sent us emails letting us know that they're gonna shut us down, but whether they officially shut us down, we don't know, because I wasn't here at that time.
Yeah.
But maybe Ernesto may know, or Yolanda may know whether we were shut down during those times or not. So it's kind of like a couple of months ago, they were off and on telling us we may shut you down, we may not. But they did shut us down on June 6, 2024, only for 15 minutes in the early hours in the morning from 12:45 a.m. to 1 a.m. And then that was at Vasquez High School. And then Metal Arc was shut down on the 20th and 23rd, but again, only for 15 minutes on the 20th and then 1 hour for the 23rd. Yes.
Instead of going through these one by one, I think we should, probably all we really need to do is look to the days that we requested funding for.
Oh, okay.
For full power
Definitely.
outage would probably be a better
Yeah.
filter to put on, then you'd get back as far as we've ever done it.
Yes.
Because we've done, that would at least get you back, but obviously. Power outages are a thing, and we
Mhm.
certainly know what we experienced in,
Right.
these last few that happened, so that was probably the most egregious, but.
You're absolutely right. So there were. The district office had no. Actually. High Desert had no power that whole day on July 14th, 2024. And then, and obviously, I'm assuming, someone submitted a J13A to get funding, but we did submit J13A from, November 7th, 2024, and then January 14th, 15th, 16th for VHS, as well as on the 21st. And then obviously High Desert was turned off as well on the 23rd, and Vasquez High School was turned
So
off.
eight instructional days just
Yeah.
in the last
Cool.
12 months.
Yeah, and we make it more power just come June, July, when there's high wind. And, so just an FYI.
Hopefully it's in July and August.
Yeah, exactly, because it's during summer. You're absolutely correct, yes. Yes. And cold. And,
Thank you.
but those are just an example.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, everybody. I mean, it's probably fresh in our memory, but I think we all know it was pretty bad recently. Any comments on? That takes us to the next topic, backup power proposals.
So, we got one quote from, I've got the name, but
So basically, the only quote we
Gamble
got was for Gamble Electric. I let 2 other electricians know. And one of them said, I'm just gonna back out of this, so It's not worth my time. I gotta spend money and need to put a proposal together.
Okay.
Well, then I call a different company. I'm waiting for him to give me the proposal. It's gonna take probably a week and a half more to receive. He came out, he did the site walk. We looked at Vasquez High School. He took a copy of the blueprints.
Okay.
He's gonna bring them back. But so far, the original guy that gave us a quote, he was able to give us a rough idea how much it would be yearly maintained. And to keep it up and running, it would be $3,220.
What was the upfront cost?
The actual cost of the actual, it was $579, $269.
579,000.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a proposal that we, Bill, that we actually not pursue this any further. And, we make a recommendation to the policy subcommittee or the educational subcommittee to add instructional days to the year, just to make up for whether or not we have more of these days. So basically extend the school year by 3 to 4 days, just to, we don't have to use them, but obviously it seems like there's an average here that goes up. I think that's how we will address this. Does anybody else have a thought on that or disagree?
I don't know if you can do that without working with the union.
I'm sure we'd have to, yeah, but I think we'd have to.
Or are we doing that because we didn't get reimbursed for the days?
We got reimbursed for the days.
Yeah.
It's
Not-
I think
not
it's
this
more
year.
about the loss of, what's that?
Not this
How
year,
about the proposal?
because she's not thinking this year.
Backup power.
No, it was the, sorry, you joined us a little
I'm
late,
sorry.
but,
I'm sorry.
so we're losing instructional days because of the power outages.
Mhm.
So yes, we do get reimbursed from them, but we still have the lost instructional
instructional.
days.
Okay, we're over the minutes required though, so I'm not opposed to it. It will have to go through the union. And teachers probably will want to be compensated, so I'm not sure what that would look like.
I don't think,
I mean,
I don't think we're saying it will happen. I think we just,
Oh, just
we
wanna
hand it
have a
over to the
conversation?
education subcommittee for them to discuss the topic and. Cause I don't think we're gonna spend, $600,000 and $3,000, 600,000 up front and 3,000 a year. To have a backup generator solution in place.
For moving forward, you mean?
Yeah, we're moving forward. So the option in front of us right now is,
Yeah, so we are putting a proposal in place for when if a situation like this, actually, we have to put the continuous learning plan in place, I think by July 1st, it has to be board approved. That will include what schools will do now. The requirement on that is 10 days. So what would you do, like by the 10th day, you have to have something up in place, but obviously we don't want to wait until the 10th day. So what we're looking at is, the question is, how do we get kids on instruction when we're out like that?
yeah, and I think for us, for facilities and finance, like it kind of ends with, okay, we're not doing that.
Okay,
And then,
got it.
we'll punt it over to education
Okay.
subcommittee. And then you can tell us what you're gonna do to
Okay.
solve it for the educational days.
Okay, it's less money than that for sure.
What's that?
It will be less money than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5% of our annual budget to put a backup generator
Right.
solution in place. It's just not viable for us.
Thank you.
But if you have an alternative solution, it would be good to hear that, as well. Not right now, but when you guys are done with your, with the,
It'll become part of our plan.
yeah, and we just
Yeah.
presented at the next board meeting what you're, and we'll discuss. At the board meeting, we'll let them know our decision, our recommendation around the generator solution, not to do it, and then the educational subcommittee has an alternative that will keep the instructional days in place.
Yes.
You guys can present whatever that is. All right. Now everyone's favorite topic, ASB balance.
I'll hand them out to you. I'll take my hat,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, make sure, Kylie.
Thank you very much.
Okay. never
I'm
mind.
88, so.
Okay.
We have plenty.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you said you were going now.
You're
Okay.
Well,
Okay, so,
Before you start, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you want to explain this? It's okay to explain that?
Oh, yeah.
The numbers and everything?
Yeah, this is all public information.
so basically towards the back, there is the bank reconciliation sheet. This is for February this year. So.
What page do we start with?
Um,
You want to start with the first one, or we want to go,
we're gonna start at the fifth page first.
okay,
So just so you can see that, on February 28th, we had 104,504 in the bank. So, and then if you go to the first page, is the breakdown of all the different clubs, what they have in their account. So like ASB general account, which is the ASB class is 11,060, athletics 3,494.
page 2.
The first page. So this, oh, sorry, where's,
First page.
sorry.
We're gonna go with this page.
So it's balance
You have a
detail?
different first page. Go to the second page.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, if you look at this page right here,
And this
Yeah.
is my, what the
Like
program is. for the-
reconciliation.
you got reconciliations in the first page.
So then that
And
goes
matches.
to the first page, yes. And but this is the breakdown of the actual clubs. So the bank is only gonna tell us
Oh,
total, right? And then this is the breakdown. And the balance sheet details is the 228. So for instance, I brought 3 examples like you asked for. First one is baseball. What it comes for like on my printout is it'll give like each child's name and spirit packets. So I just bundled them together and put like income 3,600 in spirit pack. So that's from the kids, the parents, and then, like their gear, baseball buys jerseys, so that's here. The more spirit packs, the practice balls, our fall festival deposit, so gives us their total for the account. I did an easy one, carpentry, they're new this year.
Okay.
It's a new carpentry class, because I didn't have a lot of time, so. We did was we made a club for them because they were deposit, donations from the women's club, so I was like, well, let's get you an account, and they're set up, so now they're gonna do other things. That way they can buy materials and the teacher can do whatever he wants. And then the last sheet, which you've all been waiting for, football. So as you can see, this is a big account. So in total, for just income for this year was $20,119.91. And then they started off with 2,776.85. So adding those two together, and then here's all the expenses. So banners, polos, practice wear, trophies, all kinds of stuff, good stuff on here. So now their ending balance would be 7,467. But it gives you kind of a better idea of what they're spending their money on and what money is coming in. 'Cause
no, it's good.
everybody always thinks, including myself, like, oh, we got all these donations, how
Yeah.
come we don't have as much money going out? Well, because we spend it, and it's easy to add up and not
I think the
Really?
idea is this could be,
under.
these sort of things can be available at any point in time when someone wants to look at it.
Right, so with that, we're trying to go into a new software starting, I believe in the summer.
Mhm.
We're gonna try to go over to this new software where everything is online. And I can basically do it from anywhere and make sure that things get done and orderly and like I was saying, going into this, our software we have currently is very old. So it's really hard to distinguish what's what from what, and I don't think anybody has that really looked at it since maybe our like major audit.
Yeah, I mean, this was great to actually go through and do this. and-
Yeah.
And settle everything
Yeah.
exactly how it was. We put a lot of work.
It was. So,
Put you in a good place though, like you said, to move
Yeah.
on to the next package.
yeah, so now I feel like we could start kind of fresh. I'm gonna go through all the accounts before, just to make sure that everything's transferring over properly. And then from there, it's gonna be really easy
The
to,
idea is to do a fiscal year change.
Correct.
So start July
July
1st with a
Right.
new package, just do ledger entries from what was already there and then move forward from there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's the game plan.
Yeah, because this is for this fiscal year anyways, so even with the old software, we started new every fiscal year. So it's kind of the same concept.
It's ASB work, basically, it's an online platform like what Celeste is stating. Parents, community can donate, there's a small fee, when they donate or when students buy something, it's a small fee for any transaction, basically.
And that's
how most
with
schools
anything,
are
yeah.
these days.
And along with that, Dr. Smith and I also discussed, making a calendar for next year's ASB, new teacher. And so that way we're only gonna take like reimbursement requests on Mondays and
Yeah.
approve them on Thursdays. Like if we have set days, then there's gonna be a lot less problems. And we just have to enforce all the correct paperwork. So.
Hopefully there's online forms for people instead of,
Yes, I believe with the new software, I did ask about that, and I'm pretty sure they say, and it's very open. So like, we could give you access as the board, and you guys can have your own login, and you can go in and check whenever you want and see what's going on. And the same with the forms, people can just go online and
see that.
we could link it to our website. And it'll also help with registration, because registration's really tough. There's always tons of lines because it's just me on my old little computer.
Yeah.
So this way, the students could help me, they could have their own logins, they could log into it. I could pre-do the sales and we could just, it'll be a lot quicker.
And you can put merchandise
Yes,
on the website and
they
students.
could purchase it
parents
from
can
there.
purchase.
They don't have to come in, they can just buy it online with a credit card. And
Reimbursements can be ACH or are they all card checks? So
I had to find out with the bank,
Okay.
what we would with that, because they said they could do both,
yeah, it was easier. We can ACH everything.
yeah.
It probably links up with like Expensify stuff, I would think, where people could do their own reimbursements through online and then you just have to approve them or.
I know you can print checks
Yeah.
through ASB work, but what you're asking, we have to look into, say that again.
There's a software called Expensify that usually most of these tools connect to. So if I'm seeking a reimbursement, I just take a picture of the receipt with my phone. It's
Oh.
connected to my credit card, so I can take the expense right off my credit card and then everything matched together and like you get this little package of.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't have to do it, but how many reimbursements are you doing annually?
Annually, for reimbursements, probably like 500,
Might be worth it.
yeah, but there's like 500, because we don't have a credit card. So everything has to be reimbursed. So
Yeah.
everything has to be purchased first and reimbursed. I mean, there's a few instances where I could write a check from an invoice, you know, when it, like for the football anyway, the PJs, I wrote them a check,
Yeah.
they send me the code, I could write them a check, they deliver it.
Would the idea to get a card for this account so that could be used for just to streamline stuff?
I don't, we can look in, I don't see
Yeah, I
why
don't see
not.
why not.
So, yeah, that can be an option.
Yeah.
So, let me look into that.
Modern technology. Credit cards and stuff.
It's a new thing for us.
Yeah.
Is there any questions on it, anything on here? Oh, there is one thing on here, which you'll see a negative for yearbook. We had an issue with last year's yearbook. I don't know if you guys heard about that. So we were in the hole, basically. So this is us digging ourselves out of the hole. So I had to pay them, but ASB is covering it and we're trying to work out something with the district where, you know, we get that.
So you had mentioned other loans. Is that the only outstanding loan?
Yes,
Sure.
yeah. We try not to, I mean, there's been like a few things that were like $200 where they just didn't have their money in their account at the time, so ASB offered to cover it for like the science Olympiad or something like that. So that
Those are
would
the
be
figure
like
out,
the only other time, but
just gotta figure out a way
otherwise,
to track that.
yeah.
And if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to figure out a way to track it properly.
I can, that was last year,
Okay.
so
Alright.
it's if I broke down the ASB. But like I said, with the software, so when I break it down, I do this so it's easier for you to understand. Because it'll give me so like a registration, we sell probably like 60 ASB cards. It'll have every student's name with ASB card. And then the senior package, it'll have every part of the senior package on there.
They have ledger account for it, so you'll be able to see all the inflows, outflows for the account.
Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
So what happens with class of 24 still has $4,600 in their account? Where's that go to?
so usually we wait till the end of the year to make sure that there's nothing left from last year, and then we roll it over to the
Next year. Okay.
So, like, we're gonna have a prom this year, so we'll run it over.
Right,
And
so
if they
like-
have any extra, we just keep on doing that.
This class of 25's balance is pretty slim.
Yeah, but within the last month, because we had, so like right now is also my busy season because
Right.
we're gonna have prom coming up in grad night.
Right.
So all those seniors are bringing in $150 for their ticket and the juniors, and so I have to make another deposit for
Right.
them. You know, like I said, since I can't take them online, I have to do their GoFan.
You did your
transfer it
bill
over.
pay, yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. So I'm pretty smart in trying to work my ways into getting it done for the parents.
And final, and are we taking credit cards now for entry to the events or not?
We have
Okay,
with the GoFan.
go ahead, okay.
Yeah,
That's the only way, well, not here, but a lot of fields, it's the only way you can do it.
that is the only way.
You don't
we
even
do it
take cash,
because,
no. You
um,
probably want to consider that, to be honest.
What?
Not
No,
taking.
no.
Oh, yeah, I would love not to pay cash. We've been talking about that for years. It's just, I guess being in a rural community, a lot of the parents are, but it seems to be more now, the kids are like, yeah, we don't want to pay cash.
Yeah.
So, but it's just taking a little bit longer for us to adapt to the cashless.
My kids don't even carry their physical cards,
Mm.
just have their Apple Wallet.
Mm.
They can't pay with Apple Wallet.
And the ASB Works will give us the equipment to use,
Yes.
like Apple Wallet, so we'll be able to do that.
Awesome, thank you so much. This is, I'm sure this was a pile of work.
Okay, well, I'm glad it's done.
Well, it's good, clean places to move
Yes,
forward from.
yes. It's good to get in there and really figure everything out.
Very good, thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, next topic. So obviously, last year, all the ESSER funds are gone.
Correct.
So what sort of revenue was that? Just,
Those are federal,
well, how much, what are we talking about? Our income dropped by
so I would say at least $600,000
per year.
going forward, because those are one-time funds,
Okay.
so we're not gonna get those again.
So obviously, when we lose that much income, then there has to be, you can't keep
Right.
spending at the rate that you were previously. So our next topic is cost cutting option.
Correct. So we looked at, well, we're gonna go through the facility
Facilities.
summer
Oh,
project
we're
first,
missing- oh,
and then we'll
sorry,
go
sorry.
to cost cutting.
Let's do the, final recommendation for facility needs
Everybody?
that could be completed over summer 2025. Mr. Williams,
Yeah.
good morning.
So.
So you're welcome to stay, but if you don't want to, you do not have.
Might
to.
as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is the actual summer project list that we have for this coming year. Some of those items are the ones that you approved for this coming year that you recommended.
Mhm.
Basically, the high desert building.
I don't think we've gone to formal
No,
approval.
no,
yet.
not approval, no,
Yeah,
we just had it
that-
for the
that
first
here,
year. Basically, those prices did go up, the roofs, because the price that we had on here we're guessing.
Yeah,
The actual price for those, for each building is 240,000.
Okay.
For building one, and then building two,
What do we have before?
240 for each one.
Now, what was it before? We had like one.
Before, we were guessing 130 per building.
So we're up 110,000 each one.
Yeah, that was a big,
Hmm.
a big increase right there. But the painting of the bungalows at Meadowlark went down to 70,000. That's an actual estimate from a contractor I received.
Is there any replacement of wood on that? 'Cause some of that wood looks pretty.
This is the first quote, so I'm waiting for 2 more quotes.
Okay.
That's just a rough idea to give you what, there is some wood that's gonna be replaced on there as
Yeah.
well.
Should
Yep,
They, or they,
they're gravel.
no, their actual.
Oh, that's an actual budget that
The
that
budget
the
or? is it-
roofer, no, in order to get actual quotes, we have to go out to bid.
Yeah. well,
Yeah,
it's that-
so basically it starts between, 215 to 240. That's just the rough idea of how much it would cost. That's a budget that we have to stay into. But we won't get actual quotes until if we decide to go out to bid.
Yeah.
That's when we'll receive the real quotes, the 3 vendors, the 3 contractors.
Yeah, we can either go out for formal bidding
Mhm.
or do a piggyback contract, which has already been vetted through CMAS in that route. So, we can look at a couple vendors.
But these are projects you're talking about for
For
2 months from now.
Yes, during the summer.
We're a little behind times on this. right?
Yeah, we'll have to get this into the next board meeting
Yep.
for approval.
And also the 2 shade structures that we wanna install at Vasquez High School. That's just a rough, estimate, 160. Mr. Kai has more information on
Yeah.
actual quotes that he put together.
Yeah, so, this is just an example of 3 shade structures at one of an elementary school site. And the cost, and I'll just pass this around associated with this. And, I don't know, I should have been able to have it. I can share, and then this is Daisy Gibson Elementary School for 3 shade structures. And a total cost, and the Kaiser Service Group is, they are CMAS approved, so. And when I was at Keppel, we went with them where they have their own inside architects. They gave us a bid and and they worked with DSA to get it approved. And the total cost of this project was, I believe was 500, something thousand, let me double check here.
We have 160 in here on this.
He's talking about the one for the movie.
Yeah, but it's 3, so if you divide it by,
I see.
3, about 500 something thousand, then it gets to be about $170,000.
Yeah, I would think over at High Desert, they would not need a shade structure with the
No, this is
solar
for
panels.
Vasquez.
This only for Vasquez?
But
one
one for
Vasquez.
Vasquez.
The 500 or the 160?
No,
This is an example.
this is an example. but-
Got it, okay.
Yeah. So,
But my concern right now is to get this done, we have a lead time. We have architecture,
Mhm.
you have to get DSA approval. How are we gonna get this done during the summer?
it would not
We're
get
not
done
going
in
to.
the summer. It would take at least 6 months
Yeah,
to 9
exactly.
months,
So,
6 to 9
so
months.
this isn't a project for the summer, like we're saying. It's gonna be a future project.
It'll
Okay.
have to be a 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, so normally the way they work, whatever projects we get approved during the summer,
Yeah.
sometimes we complete them all, sometimes we complete them throughout the year.
Which is
Like, for
fine.
example, the roofs for the district office, the old admin.
Yeah.
It was approved last summer, but I got it done in October. Sometimes we're not able to get it done until the contractor's able to come out
And
and
then it's finished, it's like,
it was in October. I don't-
no, it's been like a couple months ago.
Yeah, so it was probably a little bit further, but when we extend out until the contractor has time to, no, originally he was gonna come out in October and do the
Okay.
work.
And then, yeah,
But he ended up
because of,
saying that, I think it was January.
yeah, and we need,
I think we're just gonna have to start with getting it approved and then
Yeah,
let it go as
yeah.
quickly. as we
Yeah.
can.
So the main thing is to get it approved and then I start working on the project.
I do, but
Yeah.
I wanna make sure we're all on the same page.
So after the shade structures, the Acton site, all these items right here are items that we need in order to get the school up and running.
Mhm.
These were not included of the original 3 classrooms that we got approved for painting and ceiling tiles and patching. They would be new carpets for 2 classrooms, new door locks for safety, so that way the teachers are able to unlock and open it from the inside in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
They don't have to physically go outside. Install the sink inside the multi-purpose room for the cafeteria. Put a PA system at the site for the kids. Bathroom furniture. The staff, workroom area to get it painted and beautified a little bit. The PoE switches for IT, the data drops for IT, the IP speakers for IT, and printers for IT as well.
The only one that stands out is the 55,000 for a PA system.
Well, that, the door lock.
Yeah.
So,
Door locks are covered.
and I think we can look at options in regards to, go ahead, Ernesto. if you-
So basically, that's not gonna stop us from opening a site. We could always do it the old fashioned way. Buy speakers for them so they could talk out loud when they're out there in the playground. We could always let the teachers know to use walkie-talkies as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that stands out really, and you were saying the door lock.
So then 2 door locks for.
That's not two
$4,000.
doors. That's the actual, any door lock that the students are gonna be
Okay.
occupying.
No, that is, okay. So how many is that about?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Like around 9 or 10 doors, and they're panic
If
fobs.
it's, yeah, no, I know. So
Yeah.
If it's panic bars and
Yeah.
there's 10 of them, that's
Yep.
390, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's how it's.
Not too.
No, they're panic bars.
Yeah, I think the only thing that jumps out at me is the PA system, whether or not that seems like a lot. Or
But
not.
that's the first quote that we got as well. We're still getting we need 3 more quotes.
What's the difference between the PA system and the IP speakers, indoor and outdoor speakers?
So what, they give us an estimate and what we can do, and we can probably buy used equipment because it's really based on a person's knowledge on how to manage and configure the system. We can definitely look at doing a Cisco call manager Unity, have outdoor, indoor IP speakers, and it's all be IP based. And then, so we can put in used IP phones. We can buy stuff on eBay of used, Atlas speakers or Valcom speakers. And have someone deploy it.
These are.
I also have the quotes if you guys want to take a look at them, just to have an idea of what that price is for. That way, these are not some of it's just actual quotes I got from.
So
So that's what tells you exactly what we're getting for that amount.
this is basically it's gonna be a fire dress system too, 'cause if we're having flashers and color blinking lights.
No,
It's not?
this is not part of the fire system.
So why do we have flashers and colorful blinking lights and,
Basically, the actual speaker that comes with it
yeah,
has all those gadgets in there in case you wanna basically connect it to the actual fire panel, but it's not connected. This is separate.
but if we did something connected through the fire panel with a speaker that's, I don't know how old our fire panel is here, but we might be able to connect through the fire panel and do
Yeah, 'cause-
addressing.
Yeah, 'cause those
Do that
speakers that they have, they're able to talk to you, similar to what we have over at VHS,
Right.
that whenever there's an emergency, they start talking to you. Exit the building.
Right.
That's the reason why it's got those.
Right, but it's,
We would have
Kind
to
of-
upgrade the actual fire
Okay.
panel.
But again, this may not be a huge priority yet because if we don't have the funds to do this, we have to go with the bell and then the megaphones for their teachers.
I mean, I obviously, if we're gonna spend 861,000 on, well, 151 on that particular building,
Mhm.
we can cut that by a third by kind of moving the PA system out another time. It's probably.
Yep.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Can you,
Is
any
the
other
PA
questions?
system, isn't that where like announcements go out from like a main office? And isn't that where we call lockdowns from and fire drills?
that's,
How would we do that without
I
that?
would have to strategically, work with the teachers.
The fire drill will be going.
If we need to do a lockdown,
Mhm.
we need to be able to notify people immediately that we're on lockdown. A fire would be super important too,
Well, fire, you can have a fire alarm system. So as soon as the fire alarm
right?
system goes off.
But when you do your drills though, you don't use a fire alarm system, use a PA system.
No, I understand that, but that's why I'm saying if we could run it through the fire alarm system, then, because they're different,
A PA
Avenues.
system?
yeah, they have a PA system through the fire alarm system on specific.
When we've done lockdowns here in the past, because we've had a few, we have front office staff and there's a set protocol and we call the sites because they have phones inside there.
Okay, look, it's not my decision, but I don't consider that a best practice in the event that we would have to do a lockdown. The sooner I can notify you that you need to lock down, the sooner I can make sure our kids and our staff are safe. But if it can go through the fire, I don't know about
Yeah.
that, so.
But they're saying it's not compatible at this point.
At this point, no, that panel's not compatible.
Ernesto, in your opinion, is this required? Is something you need to do? Would you recommend doing this?
It is a safety issue, a PA system, and even though there's other ways of getting in contact with staff members, but that would be the fastest way.
But I think if we can do like you said, and look at, used system or something
Correct.
for
I
that.
mean, we
There
can,
might be another alternative
Yeah.
to this system.
yeah,
Every classroom needs to have a radio as well. That way, there's a way of communicating. They should have those radios at all times, and as soon as you call them, they're gonna be able to hear it.
Cause in a lockdown situation, yes, you wanna call it out, but if you have a shooter on site, would you be calling it up or would you be calling it to a radio so that you're not announcing, hey, we know you're here?
Probably radio or cell phone.
You would
Just your
usually
cell phone.
call it out though. We've had drills on that. So, I mean, you need to let people know. So yeah, you are. You don't want to let people know where the person may be.
Right.
And you may not even know, but somebody knows. So as soon as your emergency response team gets involved in that and the police get involved, there's a ton, we did a whole drill at all three of the schools around that.
I appreciate your input on this topic, but we have kids here now. Why don't we have it now?
You know, I don't know why, in my opinion, that probably should have been considered before we moved kids here. But it wasn't, so, you know,
If it helps, they do keep the doors to the outside locked and the inside doors are also.
yeah, and we are in a
They're
situation, like,
instructed to
I don't know
keep
how we
the
would
doors
notify
locked.
them. Like, if that happened right now,
We call
and
One by one?
on what phone?
them. We have, well, they have
Cell
phones.
phones?
Right now, we only have preschool and we have, TK, didn't have TK here. They have their classrooms. If they get their phones, we call them and they know to.
They have classroom
They have
phones.
Yeah. And we call them directly.
Classroom home safety.
And I think there's an alternative solution to this, a temporary alternative solution, where just buy some walkie-talkies and, to reach out to the classroom.
That's
each classroom.
probably a great
Yeah,
solution.
I mean,
Radio in
Yeah.
classrooms.
And we have radios at inside those classrooms already.
Okay.
We've set.
Right, I mean, it's.
But it
So
is,
we should practice a lockdown with them using those radios.
yeah, without a doubt.
So that's a drill that, I'll find out,
So let's do this.
because we could practice that.
Let's put the budget forward with it in there,
Mhm.
and then you see if you could find an acceptable solution that maintains and, hits all those points and that we're just safe with it.
Okay.
Cause at this point, we're doing, how many classrooms have we?
Bringing three
Right.
over.
3 over, but then we have
No,
2
it's
that we
probably only
have.
gonna be 2 based on our numbers right now.
Okay,
Because just our incoming kinder, so we have 3 kinder classes right now, but we only have 2. The number of kids coming in right now are only 2, so we might only have 2 with the sped. With the sped class, we might have a third as a sped class,
but then we still have the 2,
yes.
Yes.
so that'd be
There's
5.
actually 3 here right now.
But if we're retrofitting rooms, we need to, if we're gonna put the system
Oh, yeah.
in, it needs to go in there.
Yeah, no, we'll have them up and ready, just in case, even if there's one empty one, we'll have it up and ready in case we need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is the process in regards to implementing a voice over IP solution and putting speakers and stuff. It is doable and we can figure a way out how to make this more economical.
yeah, and if we do radios, we probably should keep a radio, like Yolanda should probably have a radio, like each of the
Correct.
offices here. So whoever gets the first, like if say there's an emergency, a fire, or shooter, I mean, it might not, sometimes it's not a shooter, it's a lockdown situation,
Mhm.
shelter in place, because there's a bear
Right.
or a snake, or we've had snakes, I
There's two
think
of
we
them.
had a coyote one day
Yeah.
up at Vasquez too, it was
It's gonna be
really
more cheap to
fortunate.
get.
But we could practice with using it, so, we can, we can say, Yolanda, you're gonna be we're gonna practice, you're gonna be the one that sees something, you call out. I would say try that before going to this expense, and just making sure people have their radios on, they know how to use them. And that they have good reception.
And
We'll let policy, subcommittee deal with, how you guys do that. We're just trying to get money to build something.
We'll say, I think that'll work.
Yeah.
Save money that way.
And I think we can put repeaters around the area, so that way we have good.
Man, it's not that big of an area, so,
Regular, any normal,
yeah, regular
any
walkie
normal
talkie.
walkie will work.
Biggest thing is making sure that they stay charged.
Yes.
Any other comments on this? Ernesto, and, would you mind preparing a presentation for the next board meeting? And presenting these items, at the next board meeting?
Next week.
Wanda, can we make sure this is on the agenda for the next meeting? We'll provide our recommendations and approval, or recommendations for it, and then ask the board to consider approving this.
I don't want to add more words here, but do you want to see on this list, what are the top priorities for everyone to?
No, I mean, I think this is what we've come up with as our most immediate items. If we want to provide the year 2, year 3 items as follow-up to what will we be requesting for the following year, it all depends on whether you want to go after the whole thing. We're all year 1, year 2, year 3 at once, or we want to do 1 year at a time.
But like,
We have to do 1 year economically.
we need to look, we might need to go to more than 3 bidders on this roof.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely gonna go out.
Because this is
No,
a huge change in expense.
No,
I don't think.
this is not, basically, once we go out to bid,
Yeah.
then we're gonna get actual numbers.
No, I understand, yeah, let's
Oh,
not
yeah,
do 3,
we're
let's
gonna
do at least 5.
Yep,
We'll do formal bidding, we'll do a job walk.
Yeah.
The vendors, we'll post it on the newspaper and trade journal. And then the vendors will come in, whether it's class A or
Construct Connect, pretty good.
which one?
Yeah, but I think they have to do it like certain ways.
As long as it's public.
Yeah.
You can do building connected or
Building
construction connect. Would be the best way to do it, then everybody,
Never seen
I'll see it. I'm not gonna bid on it, but. Why, everybody,
Building Connect, what was the other one?
Construction Connect or Building Connected, those are areas where you could do public, and you hit every. The big guys and the little guys will have access to it. Building Connect is kind of a free platform, but Construct Connect is, it'll get picked up on Construction Connect if you post in Building Connected.
So for sure, the roof replacement is an absolute need.
Yes, it is.
Getting it's already been worked through for modernizing the 4 classrooms or 3 classrooms, so that with the 3 kindergarten section.
Is any of that?
that's not even on here because it's
It's
just.
already been updated. Right, so these are just extras that we need.
Yes.
Just to, and it doesn't have to happen immediately, but it is something that we would like to get it done.
So as soon as these funds are approved, encumber them this fiscal year so that they're essentially spent as far as our budget goes. That way, they don't get clawed back for any other reason.
Yes.
Definitely done as soon as possible.
And I assume I assume the roofs can actually be done even during while classes
Oh,
are
yeah.
session, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just need to make sure they're doing it properly. Else, I don't know if we have to have a safety meeting with them, but what I saw last time, wasn't happy with it.
No, we'll definitely do it the right way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your efforts on that. Any other final questions or comments
I
on
think
this?
we're gonna go, oh, go ahead.
Well, I don't-
Yeah.
All right.
Now for the fun one.
Yeah, now let's move on to cost cutting options. So Kyle, you gotta find 861.
Oop. My bad.
They were sure I could do that first.
So, There's a list of potential reductions here. So with the shade structure, I spoke with the auditors. And they said that if our school district is growing, especially at that VHS, we can use developer fees to pay for the shade structure. So that's one cost that we can eliminate. If
Let's
they're
make sure
using
that's-
general fund.
Yeah.
we
Let's
can-
make sure we show in that presentation you guys are doing what's coming from general funds, what's coming from reserve.
Correct, Yeah.
And so, see, let's show where the funds are actually coming from.
yes.
So do we have developer fees sitting?
We have
Okay.
about $500,000 in developer fees. Yeah.
Okay. And that's not shown as reserve on our account?
No, that's on a different fund, Fund 25, not
Okay.
on Fund 1.
Okay, perfect.
So, and then,
700,000 more to go, okay.
right? We're saving $500,000 approximately from not relocating the
Oh, that
portable
was cheap.
to, right, to the district,
Yeah.
to Meadowlark. So in theory, we're saving there, right? Instead of paying out.
Yeah, that's good, good job.
And then, I am using the word modernization.
Yeah.
To modernize the 4 classrooms here, so we can move what was board approved for the classrooms. To modernize this about $60,000 to develop it. Because we are expanding, right? So, and then we're looking at not refilling the teacher on special assignment, the total position for the arts and music teacher right now. So for next school year, we did repurpose the Tulsa at Meadowlark. But in the end, because we hired some people, but in the end, we save about $20,000. Okay. And then we did have, we cannot refill a sped Tulsa. We had another special ed, but we filled that position where Devona replaced that position, but we did not fill the Tulsa for special education. So in essence, we saved some money there. We're also looking at for next school year for the 25-26 school year. We're gonna look at every single travel and conferences, so that way our goal is to see, we can save at least 12,000, if not more.
You know, I'd like to not have that one on the list. I think those are important.
Okay, we can remove that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then,
Yeah, kind of hard. Teachers
uh,
need to learn too.
yes, over that, yeah. And then, we did use, this is just preliminary,
Sure.
gradient software. We were using that to manage and track teacher certificate and classified vacation and sick time, sick leave accrual. So we're no longer using that gradient. Everything now is with LA County Office of Education, since we went into HCM implementation and we're live on that. So HCM is managing our sick and vacation time.
Yeah, one of the things I was hoping to see on this was actually from the single sign-on for the use of software, for all the recurring licenses on software. Were we able to get data on that from our?
Not yet, we have a presentation. But that's just only for software licenses. There's nothing, there's listed in there that it will
Got
it will show that.
And Mr. Alex is going to present that in May
Okay,
at the next
excellent.
meeting. Yeah. And
Anything there? Is there anything there? Any opportunity there?
It changed every year, and it all depends on the curriculum and what the services, adopt, and all that adoptions, any adoptions for the year, so. It's pretty hard to give you a ballpark, we'll get your number, for sure.
but we are making some savings here. Obviously, we can't move everything to developer fees
Sure.
because based on the article, I should have brought it with me, but maybe I can bring it next time. That we have to rely on deferred maintenance, Fund 14, to pay for all these other
Understood.
repairs, like the roof replacement stuff.
Is there enough money in that, or do you need money from the general fund to cover this?
Well, the general fund will have to cover for the roof replacement, but the shade structure can be covered through
Yeah,
developer,
through the developers, yeah.
as well as the modernization of the classroom.
So when we present this number, let's make sure that we indicate the same, where we found money to offset it. So here's the total number. You know, we're able to get 220,000 out of developer fees. I mean, how come all of this can't be
Yeah, like
developer fees?
the PA system, all that, I mean, it's all,
Yeah, it's based on the verbiage of the articles, and I can print it out if you
No, I
want.
trust your judgment on it. Just,
And I just wanna make sure that in the event we get audit from our auditors audit us every single year, they're gonna question, why did you spend developer fees on roof plans? This is because these are repairs. We cannot
only
spend
on growth.
developer fees on repairs.
but we're using, so. The PA system, the carpeting, all the stuff that's for growth, why can't we use developer fees for that? Because that's taking out, that's,
Well, he doesn't have that, so he actually is for.
but he's using the shade or
Shade structure.
the 60,000. He's only doing 60 of all that.
We're modernizing the classroom. We're just getting it ready.
Right,
for the
but we can't use,
Not,
so the like PA system's not a modernization of the class.
that would be,
Take another look at it
all
and
right.
see if you can find a little more space.
Yeah, let me reach out to our auditors,
Yeah.
and the auditors will redirect me to legal counsel to see if we can use developer fees for this, but,
Yeah, we can just look.
yeah, okay, I can do that,
The important thing is though, is to get this approved at the next board meeting.
yes.
So, obviously this is stuff that simply can't wait as it's all has to do.
There's a comment on
Uh,
around this.
let's wrap up this topic and then, we'll see if there's Tracy has specific comments. Anything else on this before we move over to public comments?
Nope.
Go ahead, Tracy. Hello.
Maybe she can type her question. I don't think she's talking. Oh, yes. No. She's unmuted.
She's on mute, yeah. Go ahead, Tracy.
Her microphone will be moving there on the right.
We can't hear you, Tracy. Can you chat in the? There's nothing on the chat box.
Maybe she can put it in the chat.
Yeah.
She took her hand down, maybe she didn't have it up on purpose. Cause her hand's not up
She said-
anymore.
There it is.
Oh, there you go.
So my question is, do we have developer fees yet received?
Yes, we have, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
When there's new developments.
Every time someone new pulls a new permit in Acton, you gotta, as I know.
Yes.
You have to pay it. You have to pay developer fees.
Just say thank you.
Not a small amount either.
No, it's not, no.
$15,000 to build a house.
Oh, 16,000?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good amount. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
I think it was that, the fire department, one of the other was big, maybe the school wasn't that much.
Yeah. Mellow roof. That.
All right, so future, any other comments there? So I'd like to make this one standing. Just, we've got to keep digging into different accounts and see like new ideas and new thoughts on how we can do it. At the end of the day, obviously with the elimination of the ESSER funds, like we're in deficit spending. And that's probably not a very good place for us to be. Most school districts, as we know, are seeing loss in attendance. We're probably one of the very few And between the loss in attendance and the loss of the ESSER funds, it creates quite a fiscal cliff.
Yes, for many school districts and,
We were facing a lot more problems in other school districts than we are when it comes to deficit spending.
I think we are, we're facing deficit spending, but, we do have a, fund balance or reserve. But again, if we go through all these projects, that will impact our reserve.
Agreed. Yeah, these things have to be done, right? Failure to complete this list will be our failure to continue to educate, right? Like, we will not be able to continue to educate kids if we don't do these things. So, yeah, roofs, these are pretty important items. So from the deficit spending perspective, like, we've got to get in front of it. I mean, I get what's happening this year. We're not gonna have a choice on it. That reserve really is for things like this, so that we can make things like that happen, and then obviously economic uncertainty, but if we continue on the path we're on, then there will be no money.
Yeah, and I feel that we have to look at other avenues, and again, looking at, in addition to reductions, we also have to look at generating revenues, and I know we briefly spoke about this, but it's something that we may have to look into more in depth at the next meeting, if time permits.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if we start now,
Mhm.
then we can get ahead of this.
Yes,
If we wait till it's a problem, then it becomes a very large problem, and then we have to make much harder decisions and less thoughtful decisions, so. Continuing to take steps now will ensure the longevity of the school district and financial health. So
yes.
we'll just keep,
Mhm.
let's keep working on
Mhm.
it. This stuff, like, it just has to be done,
Yes.
right? So don't even really have to think about it too hard. It's like, okay, if we can't educate kids, then there's no revenue from that either. So creates a bigger problem. But let's just keep it as a standing topic, like what we're gonna try to do, until we get the deficit
Mhm.
gone, until we're balanced, right? And we just gotta keep this on the agenda. Until we're balanced.
Mhm. So cost cutting will continue to be on there, but also, generating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything that creates, I mean, look, there's two sides to a balance sheet,
Mhm.
right? There's revenue and there's
Thanks.
deficit. So if we can increase revenues, great. I know the education subcommittee is working on increasing the ADA of our actual student body. So we know what 1 or 2 or 3% can do there. So
Yes,
hopefully they find some opportunity there, and then we can spend money wisely and hopefully land somewhere in the middle and end up at a place where we're growing our reserve instead of ripping away at it.
yeah, you know. Look at, the electrician. The revenue.
We don't have to get into the dive into the details of it now, but yeah, I agree. So there should be we'll have to think outside the box a little bit, create a little opportunity.
Correct.
And look, I mean, it's a good thing that we're creating new space here. That means we are preparing to deal with the growth as well. So I mean, that's good positivity.
Yes.
That's good. Any final topics before we adjourn?
We get that new bus?
Well, no, it's been out on the road for a month now.
Are we happy?
Oh, yeah.
Has air conditioning.
Good.
Okay, so we will adjourn this meeting at 5 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.